One. All right. Hey, everybody. This is Monica from No Conditions. I would like to welcome you to our very first Zoom meeting and No Conditions video. Holy crap. I'd like to welcome my guest, Gary Harris. He is the owner
Moving
of
on up.
Truck, and he's also a very good friend of mine. And you have like a plethora of things that you are just on top of right now. You're a
I
teacher,
am a very busy man.
you are. So I want everybody to know you started Harris Truck here in town. What year was that? What year did you
It's
start?
been 11 years now.
Uh-huh.
Years now that I started it.
Diesel mechanic, and you guys started over behind Sunland, over off of Paps or Woodward, right over there, and then you eventually moved over on 99.
Actually, my first original was right down the street from my shop, right behind A to Z. There was a little place that I rented over there because I didn't have a garage and I needed somewhere to work on my car. So I rented a little space and people knew I was there, started bringing vehicles in, and one thing led to another, and it got carried away, and here I am. So it's been quite the quite a whirlwind. Not the direction I really wanted to go. I was happy with my dealership life. I was, but I want more, and well, I got it.
So you're a diesel mechanic. Diesel mechanic. It's crazy because now not only are you an expert at it, but you are also a teacher. So you kind of moved from, this area to that area. And is it crazy how young kids are? Because it's kind of like a dying art, really, if you think about it.
It really is, and it takes a special person. You really have to have a knack mentally to think outside the box and look at different things in ways. No two diesels are the same. No two jobs are the same. You have two separate vehicles, both with identical concerns, but they act differently. So it's and having that ability to pick up on that is kind of cool. I mean, you're sitting in the classroom and you're talking to some of these kids and you can see the ones that get it. You can see it in their eyes. You can hear it by their questions. And there's other ones that look like the deer in the headlights when they're standing in the middle of the highway,
My mom making me be here. My mom's making me take this class. That's the look.
Exactly. And then the other side of that is what I do teach, diesel technology. The kids that I teach don't get there accidentally. There's prerequisites to even get into that class. So they've already gone through some of the program and stuff. So they've got a really good understanding of what's going on. So I'm not teaching, I don't want to make this sound bad, but I'm not teaching stupid kids. I'm teaching kids that want to be there and that are, the input that I get from them is just phenomenal. It just blows my mind.
Now, do you ever have it to where whenever you're teaching something and you think, holy crap, if only they would have done this whenever I was going to school, it would have been like so much easier.
I've learned so much just in the last year and a half of setting this up that I've been working with Butte College to get this diesel program, working with them to get the classes started. From where I started to doing the background, doing my PowerPoints and doing everything to get my classroom set up, the things that I've learned that I either slipped out of my mind or I never did learn is kind of impressive. Not things that's going to make my job easier, but it just makes me a smarter person knowing certain things. The biggest thing that I've learned that I just thought was really cool is, what did the first diesel engine run on? They didn't have diesel fuel. There was no such thing as diesel fuel because it wasn't invented yet. So what did it run on?
Alcohol?
Coal dust. It actually it pressurized coal dust into a cylinder and it would ignite. And that was the first diesel engine.
I was way off. I thought for sure whiskey, or it would be
vegetable oil, or I figured something along those lines. But yeah, coal dust. It shows you how volatile coal dust is, and how. Yeah.
Maybe I'm surprised nobody answered. They probably went, you know what? My grandma used to save those cans of lard after she cooked bacon. That's what it ran off of. Wow, that is incredible. And so now, due to this pandemic, you've been having to work from home. You know, obviously the kids are having to do everything online. Has that been a challenge for you, having to do that?
It is this whole year, because when you teach at a college, now I've never taught elementary school or anything like that, so I can't, I have nothing to compare it to. But on the college level, dealing with what I had to learn to get into this, you know, you've got to understand the kids, you've got to understand the program, you've got to, you know, everything. So in the beginning, when I started in January teaching, the first couple weeks was interesting. You know, it was getting my footing. Finally, the slipperiness got away, and I walked into class a little more confident. Then I had a couple really good classes that participation was great. The labs went great. I mean, everything kind of flows together, and it's like, yes, it happened. And then the next class, shot in the dark, shoot myself in the foot, and everything just went bad. Hey, don't do it that way again. Let's do something. So I've learned. So right at spring break, they're like, okay, I figured I was going to take that week. I was going to redo some of my labs, get some things set up, and make the class a little bit more. And then I get the email, we're not coming back to class, learn how to do it online. So everything that I've done and set up before that is now setting up. So I have to take, and I'm doing them a week at a time, because I have to redo my classroom. When you're set it up for sitting in a class, it's a lot different than setting up looking at a computer screen. I've found that you got about a half-hour time before you start seeing them counting tiles on the floor, and you know how many flies are flying around the room. They start getting distracted really quick. So you try to keep the classes small, but you still need to get the information out to them. So I'm having more classes throughout the week than I was having before, so that I could get them the information they need.
I think it's just literally turned everybody topsy-turvy.
Oh,
I mean, especially all hands on jobs. I mean,
yeah, the school's doing really good, and they're doing everything they can. You know, this is all new. This is all, nobody was prepped for doing online, doing any of this testing stuff. How do you, you know, my thing is like this. If you are going to the doctor, let's say, and there's a new intern that just got out of school and she's going to draw your blood, and she learned how to draw blood online, you're her first patient. Are you going to be grateful to sit in there and say, sure, let me be your guinea pig? She learned online.
Yeah.
You know,
that's not how it works.
No.
And there's just certain things you cannot, you just, you know, and I've always been the type of person to where I can't read it. I have to see it.
Yeah. Touch, feel, smell. How does it feel? What does it feel in your hand? It's just like assembling something. You say, okay, well, hit it with a hammer. Well, there's several ways of hitting things with a hammer. I can hit things with a hammer and I can shatter them into pieces, or you can lovely tap it. You can't teach that. That's stuff you have to hands-on feel. You know, it's just like anything else. When putting two components together, you have to feel when it goes together right. If not, you're making things go where they don't need to go. Yeah. It's just trying to relearn teaching on that side of it, because now I have the ability to using videos and stuff like that coming in on the lab side and doing more with their ability to see what's going on. I look at things a little differently. Instead of heads on, I try to give them a couple dimensional views so that it makes things a little simpler.
And I also too notice that people, I think they respond better whenever they have that contact. Whenever they get left to their own devices, they tend to veer off, and they tend to, it's not as, the drive isn't as much there as when.
Nailed it right there. And it's exactly it. And it really surprised me, because I put on my Canvas course, because everything goes through Canvas through the college. And on my class, I put a ton of videos out there on how-tos and videos on the subjects that we're talking about, whether it's EGR systems or turbos or whatever we're discussing at that time. So I give them a lot of videos. Now I can see when they go in and look on their Canvas and what they're looking at, what videos they're watching, what they're doing. everything that I do personally, make videos and I put out there, they're getting watched. If it's a YouTube video or something like that, half of them aren't even getting touched. So it goes to show they're more interested in what I'm saying and doing than what just a little bit of information I give them. I give them a book and I give them knowledge, and the knowledge, I think, is what they're after the most.
Oh, absolutely. And
It's
I
just
think
awesome.
that's with everything. You know, you got to figure, you always look to the ones, the young kids that have all the book smart, all this and that. And then you get the ones that have the hands on, that have had their fingers delved in it for all of these years. You know, you could probably tell hearing it down a mile down the road whenever a truck pulls up going, oh, I know exactly what's wrong with that thing. You know, and probably wouldn't even have to look at it if, you know.
There's so many times it's funny when they'll walk up and they'll start talking. I'm just smiling. I already know what's wrong with the truck. Just give me your keys. Come back a couple hours. I'll fix it. You know. So
You can give me a 5-minute, you know, synopsis on why you think your vehicle's this way, but I already know. Yeah.
and this is why I really stick with doing the diesels. We're starting to bring some more gas stuff in. Starting to do some more gas drivability. I've upgraded some of our equipment. I just bought one of Snap-on's Super Scooby scanners that just is incredible for doing drivability stuff. So we're going to start bringing a little more just to kind of touch bases with more of the people out there. But it's still just going to be trucks. I still don't like cars. I just
Really?
I like the trucks.
Bag of tricks, huh?
Yeah, I just love the trucks. I don't know why.
Because they go. Roar.
Well, you know, bending over a car all day really hurts, and I'm not a spring chicken anymore. It's a
You're only 29. I don't know what the big deal is. You can do it. You're totally fine. So now that you Harris Truck, you originally started on your own. Now you have had both your sons come in,
Yep.
and you have one that is working with you, helping you whenever you're not there. He takes over and he pretty much holds down the fort for you.
The goal is, and I'm setting up different things in the future. My goal is this next year or two, they've got some teachers retiring out of the college in the automotive side. So my goal is, and there's no set in stone, even though I'm an associate right now, that I'll get it. But I want to see about trying to get full-time at Butte College.
Mm-hmm.
If I go full-time, I'm working with Justin right now to just let him take over the business. Mm-hmm. So, and that's what we're working with now. He's just really getting hands-on, getting into the middle of it, just diving in, because I want him to be able to know everything in the business that, you know, instead of having somebody tell him what to do, I want him to be able to be the one. So,
and you have two boys, you have Travis and Justin, and they both followed in your footsteps. They both became diesel mechanics. They both worked in that shop. They both put in blood, sweat, and tears into that place. And I will attest to it, working with family, working with a parent, it's, you know, they say, well, I've been doing this for 15 years. You can add on another 15 years of experience when you work with the parent. You know, they expect more. They, you know, it's not demanding expectations. Yeah. You know, I think there's a difference.
It's really, I feel so blessed to have done that. You know, I was not disappointed. I was hurt when Travis left because I really wanted this to be a family thing. And I understand, you know, when you got a family, you got to look at things and all you can do is support your kids. Yeah, what I want is what I want. That's not what they want. So I have got to look at it in a way that what is going to be for him. You know, it's a matter of his life being happy, not so much about what I want. Yeah. So when doing that, it was tough in the beginning, but we worked through it really quickly, I think, and hired a couple people, and now we're rocking and rolling. Things are actually smooth now. It's really doing really good.
Now, has the pandemic kind of made it, this whole COVID thing, has it made it to where you guys are slowed down? Do you see any different?
We put the brakes on quite a bit due to the fact that my son, his kids aren't in daycare right now. So his fiance's she does our books. She does all the bookkeeping and all that. So there right now, there's no daycare for them. So the kids are there. So
Yeah.
the kids are basically in the office. So I have stopped anybody from coming in my office. I put signs on the door. The front door gets locked. If you want to come to my shop, you need to call. When you get there, we'll bring everything out. We wipe everything down. We wipe the pens down, the clipboard, everything. We bring it out. You sign what you need to sign, do that. Give us the keys. We wipe those down, get that. We get the car, disinfect the inside a little bit, throw some covers on it, and go to town. But I don't let anybody in the offices because basically it's my grandkids. Other than that,
They're
it's
your
doesn't
sanctuary.
matter with me. Yeah, I'll be fine. It's my grandkids and my wife is the two things that concern me the most. She's got immune issues, so trying to keep her healthy is my number one goal.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
I don't have to train them. They're tough.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Which I'm absolutely in love with your wife. She is the most phenomenal
I love her
person.
too a little bit. Yeah, she's kind of cool.
She's a little fun.
Moments.
Yeah.
I wish she wasn't such the morning person she is, but that's what makes her her. She is just a ball of energy, sunshine. There's rainbows coming out her butt every morning. It's
Unicorn,
beautiful.
sunshine, and rainbows every single time. And she loves everybody. If you see her for 5 minutes before you walk away, well, before this whole thing started, now it's going to be different. But before, you would get a hug. You would get, even if she only knew you for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
I'm going to be your friend. And she is, you can't help but love her.
Yeah. That's what made me come back, I guess.
Yeah. So what do you guys got going on the docket? So what do you got happening? Just been working with the Butte College, working with that, and then
College I've got 3 more weeks and I can't wait for that to be over. I really can't. It's the long weekends, long days. I'm working 6 days a week at the shop. I usually work Saturday for 3 or 4 hours, 5 hours to get whatever I need to get caught up. When I get done, come home, clean up, get on the computer, do some work. Sunday, I spend all day on the computer doing my PowerPoints, doing what I need to do there. Monday morning, back to school, and then Monday night, lab, and then just do that throughout the whole week. It's just been I feel like a robot at times. You just, okay, know what I need to do now, and go. So, but next semester is going to be a lot easier. We're going to change things up a little bit and just make it a lot easier for me. So
I just hope that this shit ends soon. I cannot keep going like this. This has just been driving me.
yeah, I hope they get a cure. That's the biggest thing right now, because it's going to come back, and it's going to come back to haunt us really fast if they don't get this under control.
Oh yeah. I've never felt more unessential in an essential world, and they lump you in all these categories of, well, if you do this, then you can't start work till here, and you can't, like, do you ever remember it being like this? Has there ever been a time in your life?
Nothing's even fathomably come close to anything like this. It just, how do you write this? How do you decide where everything needs to be right now? It's weird. Business is weird. Dealing with things are weird. Even now, buying parts, we're at parts delay time and dilemmas. Ford Motor Company, it takes sometimes a week now to get something where I could get it overnight before. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes. Is it ever going to be back to normal? What's normal? That's the thing. What do you classify as normal? So
I guess it's all in how I mean, because they keep telling us this is the new normal. This is, no more handshakes, which, that's it.
With that, me, I'm like you. I'm a hugger, and I a handshaker. I like to look people in the eye and shake their hand, and and to lose that, and I caught myself so many times that no, I can't do that. Elbow bump or whatever. It's one of those things. Just learning how to, life's changed. You look at how the world has evolved over the last 10 years. It's just been unbelievable.
I've never ever seen anything like this before. And, I keep telling everybody, I'd get a date and I'd say, okay, well, I'm thinking about this. Oh, nope, can't do that. And then, oh, I'm thinking about this. Oh, can't do that. And the whole toilet paper debacle, I did not.
That's me up. I'm sorry, but it is in your lungs. This is a breathing issue. This is not a butt issue. So I don't care how much toilet paper you buy, that coronavirus is still going to get you.
Yeah, it has no. It doesn't matter how much TP you have hoarded.
Well, you actually buy it for the people around you, because if you buy toilet paper, and this way, if you ever cough in public, you hand it to people around you so they can wipe their ass when they're done because they done shit themselves.
Exactly. You know, my girlfriend. I told her. She goes, man. She goes, this isn't a problem for us. She goes, this is a white person problem. I go, what do you mean? She goes, because we light a candle and we get Vicks Vapor Rub. Like, that's how we fix this whole entire thing. She goes, you guys have stolen all the toilet paper, all the paper towels, all the wet wipes. She's like, you know what? She says, we don't care. She goes, we've dealt with worse. She goes, we're totally fine. And I'm thinking, it is. Like, there's a bunch of old women that are headed down there right now, and there's nothing available for them. And then you got these young guys who are selling it out of the back of their pickup for like, $2 more than what they paid for just to make a buck. But I bet you they're unessential, so they're probably trying to think of a way to make money.
That's
That's what it is.
do what they can.
Exactly.
You got to do what you got to do. But this whole taking advantage of people, I've never been that type of person. And that's just, I
would give anything. And you're that type of person. When I think of you, you would give the shirt off your back, and I've seen you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I have literally seen you do it. So, did you guys prep? Did you mini prep a little bit? Were you kind of nervous a little bit?
We were kind of, and when they shut the country down, Justin and I had talked about what we wanted to do, and we had some stuff that we needed to get out. And I never considered ourselves essential, but dealing with when you had working on some of the fire departments around here, a lot of ag. 90% of what we do is ag.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. I'm sorry, those crops still need to grow. Those cows still need to be fed. They're the ones that need to get going. So for us, I kind of looked at it as, okay, they do need us. We need to be there to do what they can, but we have to do it in a safe manner on doing that also. So that was the big thing of, okay, how do we continue doing business as usual safely? So this is why we locked the place down, and the office has never smelt so good than it does now. She's got candles lit up. We painted the waiting room, and she's redecorated, and it just looks wonderful. I mean, it really is. And I walk in, and it's like, it doesn't smell like a shop. It smells like bleach. I want it to. Where's my grease?
Exactly. It doesn't smell like grease, farts, bad decisions. Like, that's normally how our back room always smelled. We were at the old shop whenever I worked with Mom.
Like, what's that smell? I've never smelled that before. And she said, that's clean. And I went, I've never smelled clean here before. So,
especially in a diesel mechanic shop.
Oh yeah. There's times you walk in, you're like, "Ooh, boy, that one stinks." The diesel, sometimes they do get some smells to them, but yeah, it's funny. It really is.
Like lavender.
Lavender, that's it.
Now, you've been in the fire department. You've been on the fire department. You're also, at one time you had both your boys on there with you, and you were kind of the old guy with the young bucks that came in, and how was that? Was that kind of cool having both your boys there?
I remember the first time, and to do all that, still riding on tailboards. Oh my goodness gracious! That to me was the best thing of all. To be able to stand on that tailboard, driving down the road, putting gear on with one sign on each side of me, and kind of sit back, and that was an aha moment where you're just like, "This is cool. This is really neat." It's been blessing. There's several fires that we've worked together with, and it's really cool. Justin and I, we had a structure fire here a few years ago that him and I did entry on, to sit there and have my son back the nozzle up when we're going in. That's awesome. There's not many people that can say that they've been able to do that, and I feel blessed. I really do.
Yeah, I think you truly are, and they're great boys. Absolutely. The greatest guys. They have so many of they have the best of you and Gail. You know, they have the strive to work, the gentle soul, the, you know, and when you talk to them, they look at you, which they get from you. You know, you've taught them to, you know, when you're having a full-on conversation with somebody, that's all that matters. You give the people the respect to look them in the eye, and that's what I like. That's what it's a, you don't find that very often.
I think I got that from my dad. I know in my younger years, I did Amway for a long time. I learned really how to do a lot of public at that. Through the college, I did some public speaking classes and stuff like that. So I got a little familiar with it and in what to do, how to make eye contact, how to, but when you approach it, and the way I look at it is, if I reverse the table and I was him and he was me, how would I want him to be explaining and talking to me and all that? And that's what I look at and how I do. I just kind of pictures the other person as, okay, that person's my mom and I'm trying to explain it to her, or, you know, something along those lines. It keeps me in check, but it also makes me step it up a little further to make sure that everybody's content, and happy along the way.
Yeah, I learned that from doing this. You know, I'm not going to name any names, but there are times where I've had guests come in that they just look at me and they say, I can't do this. I can't talk. We're going to have to stop. We have to stop and start all over again. And there's been times where I've had to stop and start 6 times because it's the nerves. And finally, when I break it down to them, it's like, you have to be PC if that's what you're going for. I do not. I could talk about myself all day long. And that's basically what you're doing. You know, it's not, you have to have that confidence in yourself in order to self-promote, you know, whether it be a business you're opening, a thing you're doing or whatever. Have confidence in it, because when you exude that, people see that and they're thinking, well, I feel comfortable knowing that that person is in charge of it. And, you know, and I tell them all the time, that's what you're doing. You know, it's self-confidence. Have it, you know?
Yep, exactly. And especially, and that make, let's see, I'm too many words trying to come out at one time here. At the shop, trying to teach Justin, not only just to talk to the customer, it's really easy to talk over a customer or over their intellectual level. I mean, I can talk up diesels that I can actually blow your mind, and the terminologies and things and stuff would just, you know, make it so complicated. Or I can make it very simple and explain the whole process of what's going on. A lot of times it's not just fixing the truck. A lot of times it's fixing the customer. Sometimes it's either something they did, something they could do to prevent it from happening again. So being able to talk to him that way, I'm really glad that he picked up on a lot of that. He's really good with customers. And I think it goes back to when they were kids, how they responded around other kids and around other, they were always, like you had said, very respectful. And you know, it's nice to watch them grow up and be the persons they are, especially now that they're bringing me grandkids. I mean, that's
exactly. They're making little versions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's running around that probably need a little bit of work. My little granddaughter, I love her to death, but oh my goodness, they're going to have a handful there. Oh, she is going to be something.
You ever sit back and be like, ooh, this is going to be good?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm here.
There is no way on God's green earth that I am getting back 100-fold of what I used to do. There is no way, because I was a good kid. There ain't no way that happened. So, well, good. Well, I'm glad. Man, I just hope this shit stops soon. I'm sick of it. I'm ready for it to be over. I want my guests to be able to come in so I can look at them and talk to them. And instead of doing this Zoom thing, this is driving, you know, I know it's time.
You know what I'm coming back for, right?
Uh-huh, I do.
You know what you're doing to this next time, right?
Uh-huh, uh-huh. We keep going to be able to donate to Locks of Love.
That's what I'm going for. That's why I told Gail I'm cutting it, and she doesn't want me to. So I'm going to cut it back the way I did it back in 1991, I think it was.
Short on the sides, a little long on the back.
Yeah, a little party up front, and yeah.
No, it's party in the back.
This is up front, party in the back.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
I don't know what party you're into, but let me tell you.
You're like this, you got to play with it, And I love it. I
I
really,
love it. And it's not much gray.
no, I'm surprised. It's really not.
Randy told me a long time ago he has so much gray and it's all from me. Oopsie.
Well, at least you gave him something.
I did. I've given him a lot.
Something to remember you by every time he looks in the mirror.
Exactly. Yeah. I am not taking responsibility for the hair coming out of the ears, nose, all that.
Yeah, don't get me started there.
Mm-mm. So you got the classes coming up. You got, and Hairstruck is still, so are you taking any phone calls? Are you just no walk-ins? Are you taking?
Yeah, we're limiting the walk-ins. I hope to be back. I've got RJ Baker, who's started work for us last year. Just been phenomenal. The kid has just been, if you don't know RJ, he races sprint cars at wingless sprints. And he doesn't have much diesel skills, but he's got hands-on ability. His ability to see and communicate back to you as because a lot of what we do is I'll go through diagnosis and they go through and do the repair. And it's good to have somebody that notices things along the way and tells you about it instead of just, don't worry about it, it just goes on. So he's been off for a month now. So we're hopefully, definitely by the 15th, I'm hoping that we can get him back in here next week. We've got so much work right now. We just can't get through it all, so I'm getting the essential stuff, the stuff that needs to be done. Anything else, I'm just telling people, come back when this is over. It's all we can do, I understand you want your oil change, but it doesn't have to happen today. So let's, either that or go somewhere else.
There's got to be a happy medium. I mean, I get the one, some things that are a necessity, some that aren't, there's got to be a happy medium there somewhere, we just have to find it.
And, the most part, people have been really good about it. There's a couple people that just don't understand it, just don't get it. The brain cells kind of stopped, didn't quite develop the way they should have. There are some people that I'm sorry, they need to get the coronavirus just to teach them a lesson just because of the stupidity level. But
we don't want you to die from it. We just want you to be mildly uncomfortable.
Yes, exactly. It just blows my mind. It's like I had one guy come in and I told him, I said, well, I don't want anybody in my office. I says, I got my grandkids here. Well, I have grandkids. And I says, then fine, you can understand. He says, well, I like playing with my grandkids. Get out of my shop because you're not playing with my grandkids. It's like, okay, this went from funny to not funny anymore, And I told the guy, this is just a hoax, He starts going in and he's got his MAGA hat on, which is fine. Your political beliefs is all, that's good. But he sat there and just started going in about how this is crooked. And I told him, you need to leave. I'm not going to argue with stupidity. And, if you can't look at what's going on in this world and seem to think that this is just nothing, then there's something there,
But, it kind of reminds me of the people that, when I was a kid, remember the ones that you go to their house and they say, please take your shoes off before you walk in the house. Now, your shoes may be clean, but it's that person's house. So you have to respect their rules. If you don't like it, go away and don't come in the house.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not agree with it. I pretty much, I don't really care if anybody comes in, playing a ukulele and wearing a kilt.
Right.
You come into the house. But if that's the rules that those people set forth, you need to respect it, So I get tired of people like that, especially ones that know best.
Well, and it just cracks me up. I really try to leave political and religion, everything out of the shop, because it can go both directions so fast, so terrible, and it doesn't need to happen. My beliefs are my beliefs, and I don't walk around telling me, it's like I was raised very strict Jehovah's Witness, which most people don't have a clue. Where they look at me now and go, wow, you really went the other direction. But
converted.
There's a phrase, and I said it all the time, and it does not make my mom happy because my mom's still a Jehovah's Witness. But one thing it's like kind of like Lord's Prayer, and it says, oh Lord, please protect me from your followers. It's one of those, it you can have, just like being political, you can be political, but there's a point where you go over that line and you're no longer political. You're, it just comes in. It's the same thing with anything else.
I've always said religion will screw you up worse than heroin, but just like everything else,
Yep.
that's pretty much it. But you never use it against, for the longest time, I did not know that about you. I didn't know your, your political beliefs, and every once in a while you let them out, but you never judge a person for, how they feel. That's what I love about you, is you never would have known. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't judge. I try not to judge people. How can you? If you don't know somebody, how can you judge them if you don't know them? Get to know them first and then judge them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So yeah,
I think it's great. Well, I am so happy. Is there anything else that you would like to say? Anything that you
yeah, the Harris truck, we're hoping that in July, and it all depends on when this whole thing kind of starts to culminate down and people can get back to real lives. We've been working with different suppliers and manufacturers we get our parts and stuff from, of doing a kind of a re-grand opening. So we have a really good company we deal with out of Sacramento. It's called Sinister Diesel. They're going to set us with all kinds of displays and stuff that comes out, some big, huge monster trucks that they've built, and hopefully get up some really neat things. We got Riley Auto Parts is going to come in, and we got a bunch of different companies going to come in and kind of do a grand reopening. We're looking, like I say, middle to the end of July, kind of what we're hoping. So just kind of to get it back out there again. People tours through the shop, some of the new equipment. Like I say, this new Snap-on scanner I bought, top of the line. There isn't anything better out there than this thing does. The only thing it does turn bolts. So, but no, it's that to me, that what's coming up, that's a big thing. That's a good one.
Oh, awesome. And tell everybody where Harris Truck is located. Address.
We're at 1114 6th Street, across from the old Bucky's Way station. It used to be the Lambert Chevrolet, the old dealership there. It's been through many things over the years, many things. So, but now it's diesel truck. So we'll see how long this one lasts.
It has been many things, but I'm glad that it is Harris Truck. That's exactly what it needs to be. So, well, I can't thank you enough for coming in. I can't thank you enough for calling and being on with me. My very first video Zoom, I did it. It only took us,
a half hour.
Maybe tops.
Half hour.
This is
learning and experimenting on the way.
I love it.
Thank goodness we had our phones so we could talk.
All this newfangled shit, we're having a hard time with it.
I'll tell you what, I've had some just nights of this, when this Zoom first came out, playing with it in the call. Oh my goodness gracious. I was not having it. I was not. And then finally, after doing it a few times, it's become a lot easier. So,
well, when I was trying to fill out unemployment, because of course, you're self-employed, you don't get that. And
right.
Trying to fill out the unemployment stuff. Well, instead of just saying no, they kept kicking you off. And so my husband, I said, I got to walk away because I'm not an aggressive person.
And I'm about to get there.
I'm about to get physical. And it was a feeling that I wasn't used to. And I'm thinking, this is what guys must feel like whenever they're trying to get something to work, whether it be working on a vehicle or, that rage that you just, it's an inanimate object, but you want it to feel pain. You just want it to say, ow.
Once. Yeah.
Just one time.
Please, just to make me feel better. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why I'm really good at swinging a hammer and not tapping keyboards, because I hit a keyboard with a hammer once. It wasn't pretty.
It didn't work out the way you thought. Oopsie. When Randy and I first, whenever you first move in together, and you get married and you buy all the different stuff for the house, the vacuums, the lawnmowers, I always knew when it was going to be a bad day. when I'd come home from work and the lawnmower would be upside down in the front yard. One time I came home and the vacuum was thrown out in the middle of the yard.
Oh, not good.
No, I walked in, I was like, this is just not going to be a good day. I think that's why he's never picked up another vacuum. Well, hey, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so much for coming on.
We're going to have to do some camping or something here this summer. We got to get out.
Yes, whenever we can be more than 6 feet away from each other, that would be great.
Yeah.
We could just hug again.
That's what I want. I haven't, other than my wife, I haven't hugged anybody. I guess that's probably a good thing.
You know, it's going to be bad. Most people go in back alleys to get drugs. We're going to go in back alleys to get hugs.
Just hold me.
I just want love. Just touch my face.
Oh, my goodness.
One of my clients goes, I hate all my roommates. I don't even want to hug them. I'm like, well, they're your family. And she's like, nope, roommates. They dropped. So anyway, well, I love you. Everybody, this is Monica from No Conditions. I appreciate everybody listening, watching. I want to thank Gary Harris for coming in and chatting with me. You guys can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free, and everybody should do it. And you also can be found on Facebook as well. Harris Truck on Facebook, correct?
Yes. Harris Truck.
Yep. Everyone go over, check him out, like the page, and give him a shout out and let him know where you guys heard it from. So I appreciate you. I love you.
Love you too, Monica. And by the way, Gail told me to tell you hi.
Please give Gail my love. And I am going to hug her. I'll wear a condom on my head if I have to, but I will love on her. All right, guys, this is Monica from No Conditions. Thanks.
Peace out. Love you, Monica.
Love you.